Hello, everyone. I want to try something in terms of builds today. So I'm going to title this revolving around the health stat. Specifically, I'm on Warlock and I want to max out my health stat. Now, before everybody kind of jumps down my throat, look at what you get. You get plus 70 on the health per orb. The flinch resistance at 10%, I mean, I really don't pay much attention to that at all. But then you look at the enhanced benefit, it's got 45% shield or plus 45% shield recharge rate, which means that when you are damaged, especially critically damaged, what's this thing that we do? We look for cover. So that we look for cover so we can stop getting hit. Um, and then that gives our shields the ability to trigger the recharge. So if that's at plus 45%, that means that when you run away or you run and find cover, your shields are going to trigger uh, a lot faster. So it'll be 45% faster than normal, right? Now the shield health at plus 20. I mean, I don't know what the number is overall. I mean, are we going off of 200? I don't know what the numbers are for our health, how much health we have, but it's saying that we have plus 20 um, shield health. I guess I just wish we had some clarification on that with some specific numbers. So that's the main thing that I'm going off of. Now, normally players don't do this because that means it's taking away from your other stats in the build, right? So you would run something like 200 health for PvP, but I want to run it for PvE because when I'm doing running more difficult content, I want as much health as I possibly can get. And also when I'm running Fireteam Ops, I noticed that the first round or two, I have really good teams, and then after that, you start getting some bad teams mixed in there. And so on those occasions, I want my health to be up, and get my shield to trigger the regeneration a lot faster. So I've tested it out already, but I'm gonna show you guys what I've done. So if you have your health up this high, um, I'm not gonna run Getaway Artist with this. I'm going to run Fallen Sunstar. And of course, on this, the superpower is Ionic Conductor. Ionic traces you create move faster and grant you additional ability energy. Okay, so since my abilities don't have um, a high stat number with any of them, like none of them are 100, I'm trying to get my abilities recharged from the Ionic traces. Okay, so the more Ionic traces I can get or create, the more my abilities will be, the faster my abilities will get recharged, and I'll still have max health. So that I want to build like a tank character, right, in terms of health and shield regen, but also keep all of my ability buddies that Warlock usually gets, right? So that's really what I'm going for. So what I want to do is create a bunch of ionic traces and then have those, come back to me. So the ionic traces, they move faster and they grant additional um, ability energy more than they normally would. So this works out perfectly. Now I'm combining Fallen Sunstar with a bunch of stuff to really make this build good. I am going with Luminopotent, a four-piece gear set. So all of these are Lumino potent. pieces of armor. Okay. Now, what does that do? You look at the two piece. I'm not really excited about. It's well amplified. Your fusion or linear fusion rifles, your heat weapons gain increased handling, reload, vent speeds. I don't use those weapons, so that really, I really don't need that. What I am looking at is the four piece bonus, which is final blows with jolt or against jolted combatants create ionic traces, right? So now you have the four piece gear set creating the ionic traces, and then your helmet, Fallen Sunstar, is making the ionic traces move to you faster, and also they give you more ability energy than they normally would, right? So that's really going to help. Okay. Now combine that with I finally got off of Prismatic as the subclass. I'm on Stormcaller. Um, and just to go over what I'm using, I've got Healing Rift because yes, I have 200 on the health stat, but I'm still going after as much healing as possible. So Healing Rift, whatever jump you like to use. I've got Ball Lightning, but let me look at I'm gonna switch to Chain Lightning because Ball Lightning, the base cooldown is 2 minutes 45 seconds. The Chain Lightning, the base cooldown is 2 minutes 12 seconds, so I'm gonna switch to Chain. And as far as the grenade, the base cooldown for Flux is 1 minute 45. Um, Pulse grenade is 2 minutes 56 seconds, so I didn't want to go up that high. You can use a flash grenade or flash bang grenade, 2 minutes 12 seconds, but you want something that's pretty low. Um, and so, yeah, I'm using flux grenades. You get that the base cooldown is the fastest that I've seen. So I'm using flux grenade for this one. Now, the aspects, I'm using Arc Soul. You cast your Rift, you get your Arc Soul, and then it's while you amplify, your Arc Souls are supercharged and gain increased rate of fire. Your Arc Soul damage is scaled by the enhanced benefit of the grenade stat. Okay. Um, which means that you also want your class stat to be up as high as you can get it. Okay. Because I want to use my grenade, obviously, my grenade stat for the Arc Soul. But in order to get that, um, I'm going to have to use my Healing Rift or trigger my Healing Rift a lot. So I want to do that as much as possible. Now we have paired with Electrostatic Mind as the other aspect. It is defeating targets with arc abilities or defeating jolted or blinded targets creates an ionic trace. Okay, so I'm using a bunch of arc abilities because I'm getting a bunch of ionic traces. I'm getting ionic traces from the four-piece gear set bonus, and I'm getting ionic traces from Electrostatic Mind, right? From the arc ability kills. Um, and then collecting the ionic trace makes you amplified, right? So you get what's that? Movement speed is increased, weapon handling greatly increased. Yeah. And then it says rapidly defeating targets with arc damage makes you amplified. So arc damage being it can be ability damage or it can be weapon damage as long as it's arc. It'll make you amplified. So the more of these kills that you get, the more you jolt targets or blind targets, the more ionic traces you get, the more, you have ability energy, you know. So that's my setup there. Now the fragments, I'm experimenting with Spark of Shock. Your arc grenades jolt targets. So this is also going to count towards your arc soul. Yeah, your arc soul. So your little arc buddy is going to be able to jolt targets because the game is reading that as it's a grenade. So there's a lot of that going on. You do have the -10 with the grenade stat, but it's okay. The next one is Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target or defeating a target with bolt charge creates an ionic trace. You're going to be jolting targets with the arc soul and with the normal grenade. So then that's going to trigger the Spark of Ions, right? And then that's going to bring even more. That's going to bring even more ionic traces. So this is like the third part of the build that's actually creating the ionic trace. You got the 4-piece armor set, you have electrostatic mine aspect, and now you have the fragment spark of ions that's creating ionic traces. And all of this is feeding your arc abilities. And then I went with Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. Um, so your health stat at 200, I'm using a Healing Rift, and I have Spark of Resistance. So again, I'm going after building a character that's a tank, but I'm also getting my abilities back pretty darn quickly. So that's my goal. And then the last one, Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. Collecting an ionic trace grants you a stack of bolt charge. So this would be the fourth thing. And this one's a little bit less of a guarantee. It says you have a chance to create an ionic trace, so it's not a guarantee. But if you trigger a Spark of Discharge, it'll be the fourth thing that's creating ionic traces for you that goes into um, your ability regeneration. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is keep my health stat up at 200 while also not missing. Um, well, I don't have 200 or something close to that in my grenade stat. So I'm trying to make up for that as much as I possibly can with all of these. And then for the super, yesterday when I tested this out, I used Storm Trance, but the base cooldown is 9 minutes 16 seconds. And there were times where I wasn't getting my super back fast enough. So then I switched to Chaos Reach, and this should be better for two reasons. First reason is the base cooldown is only 7 minutes and 35 seconds compared to 9 minutes 16 with Storm Trance, right? So the base cooldown is less. And with Chaos Reach, if you get into a fight where you need half of your super and not the whole thing, you can turn Chaos Reach off in the middle of using your super so you don't burn all of your super energy in one go unless you really need to. So that's what I was doing yesterday. When I switched to Chaos is I would use my super. When the enemies were gone, I would shut it off before, the whole super meter was gone, and I would have like a quarter to a third of my super left, and that helps with um, your super ability recharging faster. So there's that. Um, okay. Yeah, so there's four sources um, where you can create ionic traces, right? And so again, Fallen Sunstar is going to make them all move faster towards you, and they're going to give you more ability energy than they normally would. Now you can pair this with the main one that I'm using is Centrifuge, right? So this is the base weapon. Now, depending on what your champions are in a particular activity, um, you're going to change the other two weapons in your heavy and your kinetic slot. But for the energy weapon slot, I use Centrifuge with this because I'm going to combine it with the artifact that I switched to yesterday as well. So Centrifuge Of course, his arc, it's really good. I tested it yesterday, it's really good. Sprinting, sliding, and firing this weapon builds a temporary electrostatic charge, increased range and reload speed. Final blows with high charge cause explosions, and maximum charge explosions blind targets. And so when you blind targets, it also triggers your fragment. I think one of your fragments and one of your aspects. And so when you get defeats from when you defeat blinded targets, that triggers them as well. So it's all trying to I'm trying to get it all to work together. Um, the other thing that I do is okay, so Centrifuge is for overload champions, right? So then I have right now I've got Permafrost for Unstoppables, and then I have Chain of Command for anti-barrier champions. And again, you can look at these and depending on what you need to do, um, you can put like I use this for Unstoppables if I want to switch to this machine gun, and then up here if I want to use like anti-barrier, I would probably switch to this one shotgun. Um, because I tried this one yesterday for the anti-barrier champions, and it doesn't do enough damage. So this time around, I'm gonna switch to super cluster when I need to. Um, Cause yeah, those anti-barrier champions, they just trigger their shield so fast. You have to do a lot of damage on them really quickly. Um, so yeah, the shotgun will probably be better than the pulse rifle. But both of these are will stun anti-barrier champions. Okay, so yeah, centrifuge really good, and yes, I do have the catalyst completed. It says while amplified, this weapon gradually gains overcharge, and you're going to be amplified quite a bit. So there's that. And then it's regenerative motion. Sprinting gradually reloads the weapon, which I have to. I'm like I don't even think about reloading. I just reload constantly. But with this weapon, I really don't have to. So if you just have to run for cover, like sprint for cover, you're gonna reload your weapon as you go. So that helps with your shields as well. Um, let's see what we got here. Okay, so there's two options for the artifact. What I tried before is this one, Tablet of Ruin. So I had, uh, what's this, Electric? Defeating arc debuff targets grants a bolt charge. Rapidly defeating arc debuff target spawns an orb of power and heals a small portion of health. So that also goes into trying to build a tank to where not that you don't take damage, but you take damage. It doesn't take as much health out of you as it normally would, and your shields recharge a lot faster than it normally would, right? Um, Photonic flare. They killed me with these names. Defeating an exhausted or severed target with arc damage releases a blinding burst. Exhausted targets deal reduced outgoing damage, so there's that. I've got hold the line while surrounded machine guns, which I'm using, or glaives gain increased reload speed stability, and final blows heal you. So that's also really good. But remember, like you have to use. Well, no, you don't. I was gonna say you have to use an arc machine gun, but no, it doesn't specify arc with this one. It just says machine gun. So any machine gun, the final blows are gonna heal you. So that's actually good. Next is flashover. When you gain maximum bolt charge, you also become amplified. Lightning bolts deal more damage. So you're going to be creating a lot of lightning bolts. You're going to get bolt charge quite a bit because you're going to be amplified a lot. Because you're going to get a lot of arc um, ability kills. And then I threw on this one just because picking up special ammo has a chance to grant heavy ammo. And since you have to use your machine gun for this one, I figure picking this one up shouldn't hurt, right? So in my kinetic slot, my kinetic weapon slot, I usually have like a grenade launcher or something or a fusion rifle that uses special ammo. So then you have special ammo dropping, and then if you run into a part of a activity where there's no heavy dropping, but you're getting special, that's gonna feed into your, you know, machine gun or give you ammo for that one. And then we have oh my gosh, defibrillating blast. Stunning a champion grants maximum stacks of bolt charge. So you stun the champion, and then the next thing you know in the gameplay, you're going to see that bolt of lightning come down and hit it. You know what I mean? So that's always great. Damaging targets with bolt charge jolts them and heals you. So you're getting healing from this. You're getting healing from this. The final blows with this one, and I think there was one more. Oh, this one heals a small portion of your health. So, and that's on top of the 200 health stat that you already have. And then finally, for Tablet of Ruin, I've got Elemental Supercharger, defeating exhausted or severed targets with weapons that match your super. Um, that match your super element grants super energy. So I've got an arc super. I'm using Centrifuse, which is an arc weapon. That should help with getting your super energy back as well. All right, so that's the one artifact. This one I just put together and I have not tried it yet, but because I'm using Centrifuge so much with this build, I am going to try Hunter's Journal. Okay, so this one has the auto rifle icon up there, which is what I noticed when I was looking over all of these artifacts. So I found this one is Sustained Fire. Continuously damaging combatants or healing allies with an auto rifle grants you damage resistance. Now, unfortunately, Bungie still never got around to giving us specifics like damage resistance. What does that mean? Is it 10% damage resistance? Is it 15? Is it 5%? Like, we don't have specifics. So I don't know what that is, what the specific number is. It just says grants you damage resistance, but that's there. The next one is energy diffusion substrate. Gain a smaller amount of resistance to all damage dealt to you by combatants. How much is a small amount? I don't know. But that's two damage resistant perks in a row. Third one, counter energy. When you or a member of your fire team stun a champion, you gain energy for your least charged ability. So again, since your ability stats are typically low with this build setup, you're going to want something like this. Next one, bad amplitude. Damaging a champion with an arc ability causes the champion to become jolted. It may sound boring, but as you get into tougher content and you have to deal with, especially the overload champions teleporting all over the place, you really want to jolt them, stun them as quickly as possible because otherwise they're going to be a pain in the butt to keep up with where they're going. They usually like to teleport away, have you chase them, and then they'll teleport right behind you and smack you. So, so yes, you want to stun them from a distance as much as you possibly can, um, and finish them off before they get their wits about them and start teleporting all over the place again. Okay, so there's that. The next one, targeting autoloader. While you have an auto rifle, which is centrifuge in this case, equipped, defeating combatants reloads your equipped weapon and temporarily increases weapon damage. Now, The reloading part of the weapon, I'm not worried about because Centrifuge reloads as I'm sprinting. If I forget to reload it or don't have time to reload it because I'm running away from something. But you do get the increase in weapon damage. It says temporarily. How long is that? Is it 5 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? I don't know. It doesn't say, but that's also helpful. It says also says awards bonus progress when dealing final blows while surrounded. So bonus progress, I guess it means that you get even more weapon damage if you're surrounded, which is a lot, especially if you jump into something like Arena Ops. It's like you're surrounded almost all the time by enemies. So yeah. And then it says while you have an auto rifle equipped. So I guess as long as you have it as one of your three weapons, this should work. That's how I'm reading it, but I could be wrong. Um, the next one, Shield Crush. While you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, Void Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. For the Arc build, the Arc subclass build, I can't use any of that. The second thing that's here is while you are amplified or radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. That's the part. We're going to be amplified a lot. The grenade is going to recharge faster, which is what we want, and it's going to deal increased damage. Now, the increased damage, I think that also extends to the Arc Soul, right? Because the game is reading the Arc Soul or Arc Buddy as a grenade. So I'm expecting the increased damage to be applied to the Arc Soul itself and not just the grenade that we can throw out. And then the last thing is Shock and Awe. When you have an Arc or Prismatic subclass, Arc Final Blows while you are amplified summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. I mean, do I need to say anything else with that? So we're gonna get amplified as much as possible, um, or that's what I'm trying to do with this build. And a lot of jolting targets. You can jolt targets with your grenade. You're gonna jolt targets with the arc soul. You can jolt targets with centrifuge, your auto rifle. I mean, it's jolting targets all over the place here. And then you got ionic traces coming back at you, and then you have fallen sunstar increasing the amount of ability energy you get from those traces. So I don't know. I'm gonna compare the two Hunter's Journal setup with Tablet of Ruin setup and see how they compare, you know, um, and see how that goes. So centrifuge, this weapon can change. You can use an arc machine gun or something like an arc machine gun to benefit from some of the artifact perks as well. Um, and then this changes. But like I said before, centrifuge stays with this particular build. I just keep it on me all the time. It's the best. Now, in terms of the types of armor that you want to get your health up this high. So, okay, for me, it's these are the only pieces I have in order to get this combination because I don't have a lot of luminopotent pieces of armor. So what I could put together is I had a fallen sunstar that was bulwark. So that means that you're going to have 30 health. You're going to have 25 class, and that plus 20 can be between melee, grenades, super, or weapons, right? So for this build, um, that third that third option for plus 20, it can either be grenade or weapons. But at this point, I'm probably leaning more towards grenade. I'm not sure. But this is because I only have two fallen sun stars, so this one fits what I'm trying to do the best. With this one is a Colossus. Again, it has health as the main stat, but then it has super. And then for the third stat, it has melee. Okay. And I know my numbers look a little funky because I'm taking um, 5 points from melee and I put it into weapons. So that's what I did there. But anyway, health is the main stat on all of these. And then this one, I have Siegebreaker. Now, Siegebreaker has the main perk or the main stat is health. The secondary stat is grenade. And then the third stat again can go between the other four. This particular one is on weapons. So I went ahead and used this one. This one I also have again health, grenade, but it's class instead of weapons. You can use this as well, but since this one is a tier 4 instead of a tier 5, I went ahead and I definitely went with the tier 5 one because you get the maximum amount of points that you can get out of that armor with tier 5s. So there's that. This one is another siege breaker again. Um, Primary stat health, secondary grenade, and then for this one, the third is super, which is not my favorite to be honest, because I don't use my chaos reach a lot. Like I don't use my supers a lot, just in general. So that can go in class, it can go into weapons. To be honest, class, I would say class or weapons would be okay with the way that I play. And then this one down here is another bulwark, just like the helmet. A lot of health, and then there's class as the secondary, and then this one again has melee as the third stat. And I have not masterworked the armor because I'm testing this out and I'm running out of enhancement prisms. So once I test this out, yeah, because I had 70 something enhancement prisms and now I'm down to 26. So I have to be more careful. I've been testing so many combinations of so many different builds and it's been chewing through my enhancement prisms. I did get my ascendant shards back up, but and here's the thing too that I noticed. Uh your ascendant shards are capped at 50. So if you go into a strike or any activity, and at the end when you open, you get your rewards, your rewards, you will leave the ascendant shards on the ground if this is capped out at 50. So make sure anytime before you go into an activity, especially like Fireteam Ops or Arena Ops, whatever, make sure you're not maxed out with your shards. Because at the end of the activity, when you're trying to pick your shards up, it'll tell you that you don't have any space for them, and those shards will not go to the postmaster. You'll just leave them there and you'll lose them. You know what I mean? So I'm just like trying to manage my inventory while I'm doing all this stuff. But anyway, so that's what I have. Um, and what am I running right now? I ran a bunch of stuff yesterday, so I don't have. I'm probably gonna go Inside Terminus. I'm gonna go Proving Ground. Uh, I don't like Reclaim. It's too long. And if you get a bad team in Reclaim, oh my goodness, it's bad. So yeah, I would probably go Inside Terminus, Proving Ground. I would go. Override. And then I did these yesterday, Catch Crash and Astral Alignment. I did those yesterday, so I don't have any more bonus drops. Um, and you get Hammerhead with this one. That's good. And then there is Let's see. No, I don't like Typhon. I don't like Salt Mines. Conflux is okay. Creation's okay, but there's only one bonus drop. And then Caldera, it's pretty standard. 3 bonus drops is good. Now for the quick play stuff, you have to be careful with, like, I don't even run this one anymore because when I ran it yesterday, you'll get tier 3, maybe tier 4 drops, but that's about it. So yes, you get a completion reward and 3 bonus drops, but those drops are not going to be very useful, especially with where I'm at now. If you're like beginning on your character, you're not at 550 yet in terms of your power level, you can for sure run these, because they're pretty easy to run them. Now, when you go quick play master, the only reason you would have to be careful with these is they will put you in activities that you don't want to be in. So it'll randomize any one of these. So let's say that you don't want to play Skywatch, like you can't stand Skywatch. If you go up here and you go into quick play, it might very well just throw you into Skywatch. You don't have control over which one of these op activities you run or you go into. So just keep that in mind when you're going quick play. It'll throw you in activity, and yeah, it will likely be something that you don't want to run. You will get the extra drops, so if you want to run it one time and just suffer through it, that's fine. But for me, I'm normally not in the mood to do all that type of stuff. All right, so do I need to do anything? Yeah, I'm finished with my weekly rewards. All right, so we're gonna move into one activity. And again, I'm testing Hunter's Journal on this build. So I'm trying to, do I want to go fire team or do I want to go solo? I'll go proving grounds and see how it works alongside other players. I believe there are champions, so we have barrier and unstoppable. Okay. So overload's not going to help. And I can't use, yeah, I tried this yesterday and it didn't work very well. So I need the machine gun to be unstoppable, which is this one. So now I have something for unstoppable and I need something for barrier, which I said is gonna be, gosh, I want to use the shotgun, but the problem is in this activity, the anti-barrier champions are usually far away, and if you try to blitz them, you will get wiped out before you get there. So I'm gonna go with last Thursday. Um, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I want something long range and a heavier hitter. So ideally, if I can get a fusion rifle or a grenade launcher that is anti-barrier, then I can fire from a distance. Hold on. I'm gonna grab my tablet and pull this up on my tablet. Oh, my battery is so low, 25%. Okay, so what am I looking for? I'm looking for a grenade launcher. You know what? Let me just go anti-barrier. Anti-barrier. Let me see if I can do this. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna switch to this screen. All right. Anti-barrier. Okay. So typically you want something heavy, but you want to be able to fire it from a distance, and it can't be an exotic because I want to keep Centrifuse. Gosh, I don't have any fusion rifles. Wow. That would be my go-to. I've got traces, but that's not heavy enough. I've got snipers. I've got shotguns. But I don't have a grenade launcher. That's an anti-barrier. And I don't have a fusion rifle. That's an anti-barrier. That is so crazy. I mean, I feel like I gotta go in the game at this point and figure out where's the grenade launcher or the fusion rifle that's anti-barrier. Because I don't like the options I have available right now. All right. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go from range and just be careful with this. But if they're a pain in the butt, I don't know. I may have to switch in the middle of the activity. But anyway, so there's anti-barrier, overload, unstoppable. Yeah, because yesterday I tried the machine gun for the anti-barrier and I ran out of ammo so fast, and it was a solo op at that. So I'm like, okay, I can't do that again. Okay, so this is going to be an S tier. S tiers are really good for good drops. So, like the quick play, I don't think you'll get an S tier rating on it when you start the activity. I think the master quick play is like a tier A, like an A tier activity, which is okay. But the S tier activities are the best in terms of getting some really solid drops in material, like ascendant shards and whatnot. Tier 5 drops, that sort of thing.
Commander Zavala, we agree to the right of proving. The Cabal sends forth its champion.
The challenge is met. Our blood flows together. May it lead to unity.
Toasty. Oops, wrong weapon. See, there's an anti right there. And see how he's in the middle of a whole bunch of... I keep trying to read them. See, so I just sprint and it reloads. Oh, crap. I lasted a little bit longer than I was supposed to, but I noticed that, wait a minute, oh, there it is. I heard something. Trying to get him to get his... I don't know why it's not, there we go. Oh, crap. Oh, I don't know what that was. It must have been him. No, but I'm saying like I stayed there too long, but I was standing there longer than I was able to stand there longer than I normally would be able to. All right, I gotta go in there and get this guy. Oh, I missed him. I'm gonna have to rewatch this, but I don't know if you guys can notice.
Countless electors, the digger of graves, her mouth packed with red soil. I do not grant you safe passage.
Oh, I can't write that one. I don't know if you guys can notice in terms of health how
My tale
tanky
is
I am.
restless. Do what you came for. Fight well or die quickly. Be reasonable, Guardians. While there is shame in surrender, I am merciful. We lost our world to the Hive. Why will you not stand with us?
We sign no treaties at the end of a gun.
I still get happy to hear Zavala's voice.
Bring this fighting to an end.
My honor guard deserve a role in this battle. A victory here will be victory for all Cabal.
Oh crap, I'm not in a good place. Nice. Yeah, see how... There we go, come on. Oh, there he is. Shoot. Yeah, I got... Well, what I want him to do is trigger his darn... Because if I use my super... There we go. I don't know how long it's going to take me for my super to come back. Did we lose people or... I don't know, I don't... I see one person. I don't know. Oh, there they are. I'm like, where did they go? Oh, wait, wrong weapon, my bad. Yeah, I reload automatically. Ow. Oh crap, I can't stand there. I was too close. Come on. Nice. Whoa, that was close. I'm in a bad spot. Nice, nice. Whoa. Give myself some space. See, now my abilities are dead because I'm not stringing. Um, there we go. Oof. Yeah, if oh, Yeah, that bolt charge when it hits. Oh my gosh. I'm not close enough. Right. Okay. So this is a good example of what the build can and cannot do, like where it has little gaps in it. Um, but in terms of
My
health, I think,
champion awaits in the locus of honor. Why do you skulk through the maintenance areas?
We will deal with your champion in due time. Though we may destroy your tank in the process.
Ha! We are Cabal. We eat the mountains. We drink the seas.
Yes, and we are here to stop you.
I know stories of fiends who cut at the legs of powerful heroes. My tank will not be felled so easily.
wait a minute. Oops. Oh, darn. I think I bolt charged both of them and still wasn't enough. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna let. Whoa. It's like, where does that come from? I'm gonna save my grenade for the big guy. Come on. There you go. All right. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't know if my teammates know what to do. Oh, here we go. I want to just jump over there. Oof. Gotta get through. That was a bad throw. Here we go. All right. That bow charge is no joke. Here they come. Be more careful this time. There you go. Reloading at the most inopportune time. Oh, I thought somebody was ready. Now, ending this might be a little sketchy because it might be very sketchy because oh crap. I don't know if they have the correct weapons to stun. I'm not sure.
You take to ritual combat well, Commander. Do you enjoy it?
There is no pleasure in killing. If this one act of barbarism will force peace, so be it.
All right. It's going to be dicey because this guy is no pushover. We got
Hold
18.
strong, Guardians. One final victory is all I ask.
We got 18 revives, so you guys ready to rock?
Now, the final trial. Battle against the champion of the Cabal.
Oh crap. He's just picking on you. And see how fast my energy regenerated? Well, that's very important. I'm gonna have to get to the other side of him. Oh wow. That was a bad time to reload. We're down to 15 revives now. I gotta get this shield down. Dang. Oh goodness. Now we're gonna have 12 revives. I don't think that they are ready for this fight at all. And he's just I'm gonna have to double back and try to. Dang, I had to though, because he was just killing us with that shield. It says somebody joined. I don't know. This is not the best. It's like, how much can you take? Finally. Alright, so we gotta do this over to get him. Oof. Ah! Well, yeah, I figured they were following me.
Kaido, your champion falls.
Yeah, we
You have
lost a
claimed
player.
victory in the right of proving. I am bound to our agreement.
Your champion fought with honor, and you accept defeat in the same way.
Considering, I think the rank 4 player, we lost him, and then the rank 6 player was still there. We picked up somebody who is, I don't know what their rank is, but results 85, 76, and 1. Yeah, we lost somebody. Still got the full points for the S tier or S plus tier, but man, I had a feeling that was going to be rough. So you guys can the problem is if you're not creating ionic traces when you're fighting the tankier enemies. If you're fighting crowds and crowds of enemies, great. You're getting enough ionic traces to keep your energy regeneration up, or ability generation up. but you're fighting the just those bosses and stuff like that. Super is not coming back fast enough. Uh, yeah, just the abilities in general aren't coming back fast enough. So I would probably have to put more into the health regen. Like the recharge rate was great, but if you get caught by, you know what I mean? Like if you get caught in a bad spot, even with the maxed out health, it's tough. But for sure, I felt um, tankier than I would have otherwise. Now that was the Hunter's Journal run. I might also switch over to this one, run that same activity and see how it plays. But I didn't have trouble with ammo. Um, I didn't have trouble with ammo. I think last Thursday was a good call because the anti barriers were so far away. And those are the type where if you try to go at them with a shotgun, you're you're not gonna make it to. You have to close the gap to get into range with a shotgun. You're not gonna be able to do that safely, especially with that many anti-barrier champions in that strike. So, whew, the other thing that kind of threw me is that my the other two players that I was with, they were not um, experienced. I would say I haven't seen a rank four in a while. Um, but the rank four players stayed in as long as, until the boss part of it, and then they just kept getting caught with um, those orbs or whatever the boss fires out there and they track you. So, yeah, you definitely have to come into that particular activity ready, especially against that boss, because that's one of the tougher bosses I think in the game. Yeah. You have to go in there ready. So normally your the other two players on the team are not that new to the game or new to that particular activity, but it felt like the two players I was matched with, they knew what they were doing, but they weren't like geared up um, to fight a bunch of champions and everything. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna toss it yet. The stats for this build, I want to give it one more try. Well, not even one more try. Try it on different activities and just understand, okay, it can work in this particular strike or this particular battleground, but not in these over here. You know what I mean? Um, because you really have to get waves of a bunch of red bars coming through, which is definitely in a lot of the battlegrounds, but that final boss can't be that one. So yeah, I got a bunch of positive outlooks. Main ingredient. I got another punch out. Okay. All right. Oh, and then the heavies. Okay, I have to go through these later and see. But yeah, you guys let me know. Let me know what you think. Now they gave me a tier 3, which is not terrible, but yeah, it's. I was looking for a siege breaker, but not a tier 3 siege breaker. So instead of 30 points in health, you got 29. Instead of 25 grenades, you got 22. Instead of 20 on weapons, you have 14. So yeah, the tier 3, the tier 4, they're gonna short you some points, I believe. Um, so you're definitely going after tier 5 drops. Like this is a tier 3. It's a powerhouse, so this is for weapons. Interesting. They gave you 30 points, the full 30 for weapons, but super and melee were shorted points. And then this one's a siege breaker. Oh, but they put the third stat on melee. I felt like my melee wasn't doing enough with what I had. Um, I'm gonna switch to ball lightning again and see if that does better. Ball lightning releases additional lightning strikes before detonating. Okay, that's helpful. Very helpful. But yeah, I would say one on one, in a less chaotic situation and you're going against a champion, I you know what I mean? I think the champion's going to be in trouble. I didn't have too much trouble with the champions. All right, so what would be the next good test for this? I can just go Caldera, right? Which is pretty simple. And then I'll leave off on that. Everything. Let me see where we're at. We have overload. So my overload champions is gonna get taken care of by Centrifuse. So I can use this as long as there's no surprises. I'll still keep the anti-barrier with last Thursday. I'll still keep the unstoppable with ulterior observation. But this one says it's only overload champion, so um, this one will be fine. I should be able to do everything with Centrifuse. Now notice that this is an A plus tier activity, so the rewards are not going to be as high unless you boost it. Um, you can go. Okay, so you're 20 points under here, Grandmaster. There we go. So now you're a tier 5. You're 25 points under. And then Ultimate, you'll be 30 points under. Do I need Ultimate? I don't think so. And then, like I said, the other thing you want to keep an eye on. See, I got 48 shards already. So if they give me more, um, I won't have. That's like if they give me 3 more, I can only pick up 2. So I think I'm gonna lean in. I did get some more enhancement prisms to drop, but every time I masterwork a piece of armor, it's chewing through my enhancement prism. So now that took me back down to 45, but then it also took me down to 16. So yeah, I have to trade in some material. I think I can do that to get some my prisms back up. My shards are actually in a pretty good position. So yeah, I'm gonna go 550. That's a guaranteed tier 5 drop. And here we go. We'll see how this goes. And then, like I said, I'll be done after this run. Oh my gosh, I just looked at the time. It's already after 9 o'clock. Get prepared for work in the morning. Just prepare for the week in
It's a
general.
relatively simple assignment, this. I hope you won't be bored.
Just the opposite, Devrim. After dealing with the anomaly, time travel, and advanced metaphysics, a straightforward mission sounds refreshing.
Toasted them. Ooh. There you go. That was better. Whoops. Oh, here we go. Let him go ahead and blow up the door. Where is that fire coming from? You. So far, I mean, overall, I think the build is fun. It's just that the beefier enemies you have to watch, you know, you have to be careful what you're going against. Ooh, there we go. All right. I haven't been on Kepler in so long. Okay. I forgot my bearings here. There we go. I haven't felt the need to use my super yet, which is great. Um, isn't there supposed to be enemies in here? I don't know. Oh, there you go. No, I just thought they were gonna be. Ow. I think I blew myself up, to be honest. There was an explosion, and then I was like, okay. Now, these two alternate between the two of them. Oh, here you are. Come on. Dang it. It's not him. Hey. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Yeah, there's just these moments when the flood of enemies stop coming. That you get stuck with no you get stuck with no
Threat's
energy
been
regen.
neutralized. Do these solo missions happen often?
Not really. We prefer to work in teams. Are you more of a lone wolf?
I would if I could.
Holy
I'm always
crap.
forced to work with someone at least. Never a moment of quiet.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Don't be. You're different from my assignments.
Okay, so they finally gave me A minute 12 left. Um, yeah, I think that was pretty straightforward, you know. And like I say, the champion part of it, was pretty good. I don't think I had problems with the champions at all. And that's usually like my biggest thing is those overloads, teleporting. Um, yeah, so it's not too bad. And I'm sure that, other players can run through that quicker than I can. Now, they did give me tier fives because the ones they gave me yesterday, I ran it on a grade A instead of the S tier. They kept dropping the tier four uh, chain of commands, right? So um, I ran it on the S tier version, and they finally gave me all tier fives actually. So I got to keep that in mind when I run solos, is to do S tier. Yeah, so if you're doing an attunement for chain of command, let's see, here we go, solo ops attunement, and I have chain of command selected. So, and again, as you're running arena ops, fireteam ops, solo ops, just make sure that if you're trying to focus on getting a certain weapon, like arena ops, I'm trying to get a really good ringing nail. And then fireteam ops, I'm trying to, I was focused on getting positive outlook until I got so many that I don't need anymore. um, but yeah, then I got a bunch of punch outs, but I don't think I want to focus on anything else in here. I'm not sure about prolonged engagement. I think there's one good one for this as well, but I'm going to see if I already got it before I try to focus on um, getting one of these. But yeah, the attunements are all over the place. Assortments or distortions, I should say. Distortions, I'm trying to get this machine gun because I don't have this at all. But I wanted to get a build that I'm comfortable with, and before I start jumping into other stuff. But yeah, I think this is really good. Um, this build, the way I have it right now, I think it's pretty good. Um, like I say, I may want to tweak the grenade, like put on a grenade font or two grenade fonts to get this boosted back up. Or better yet, since I'm running it, skip that. I would put the class item. I would go class fonts for this to get the my riff back faster. So if that's the case, I would say the Bulwark, probably go health, a lot of class, and then get the grenade up, right? Have the grenade as the third stat at plus 20. Because again, the supers, like I just don't like, even in that Caldera run, that I really need to use my super at the end. I mean, it's faster in that case, but not really. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the biggest thing is the class. So if I can get four pieces like this, a lot of health, uh, at plus 40, class plus 30, and then grenade plus 20, and get that 5 times, then I think that should work. I'm not gonna guarantee that right now, but yeah, I think that should work. I'm definitely gonna test it out, and then I might come back to having a combination of Bulwark and Siegebreaker or Colossus or something like that. I might have a combination of things, but I want to get all of the options together, be able to mix and match and see what works best, and just keep testing things out. Um, and then I can come to the Ghost and figure out or decide, do I want to keep Siegebreaker on here, or do I want to go with Bulwark, which is I'm gonna keep the health up there, but then have class as the this always the secondary. Um, yeah, because otherwise, I think that should work. Because with the grenade, I do use my grenade like because I'm not using getaway artist. I'm actually throwing a grenade now. It's fine, but I don't need it more than my class ability for the healing rift. So health first, class is secondary, and then that third option, I can probably try the plus 20 with grenade, or I can go put that plus 20 into weapons, and I would have that straight down. So that third stat with the plus 20, if you go 20 times 5, that's going to give me 100 for that particular stat. If I need to split it up, I can try that between weapons and grenade, or I can go all grenade or all weapons and see how that works. I'm leaning towards all weapons with this particular build because it just seems like there's going to be times when I'm only going to have my weapons. So if my weapon stat is down at 25, that's just not going to work. Um, but what's going to remain consistent is the Luminopotent bond, or the Luminopotent gear set. And all of these, I would probably say I'm going to switch them all to Bulwark and have class and um, or not have class, but have weapons for all of it as that plus 20. Because Siegebreaker, yeah, it's not going to work as well because it's giving a plus 25 the secondary option to grenade. So I'm definitely going to have to go with Bulwark because Bulwark is going to give the secondary to class. So health, class, and then the third option, just look for weapons. Which means that I'm gonna have to get another Fallen Sunstar. It shouldn't be too difficult to do. It's like when you're trying to focus on getting specific stats on an exotic, it's like pulling a slot machine. Because even when you equip this, like I've got Bulwark Armorer on my Ghost, that's supposed to work when you're trying to focus on a particular piece of armor, but the game can still give you something, oh, an armor type that's completely different. So you don't know. You want to catch the game in a good mood, um, and go from there. But yeah, at least I know at this point what type of uh, armor piece I'm going for. And from that gameplay, I just feel like, yeah, because of nothing else, like if I always get my class ability back, that gives me access to healing, gives me access to the arc soul, and then I can get kills with that along with my weapons. Yeah, as long as that that third stat is on the weapon stat, that plus 20. All right, that's the plan. All right, you guys, I'm gonna likely add the timestamps to this, so you guys can jump to whatever section that you want to see and not just go through the whole thing because I've been on here over an hour 40 minutes. That's all I have, and you guys take care. See you on the next video.